I've been making YouTube videos for a few months now, and I think it's time for me to finally make a video about why you should take my advice and suggestions into consideration. Now, I don't come on here and pretend to be some expert who went to school for 20 years, and now I know everything about psychology and like anatomy, and like I'm trying to be like some scientist. That's not me. The reason why I feel my advice matters is because I'm an average person. And that's the reason why. Not because I'm some expert. Because I'm an average person going through different experiments, going through different routines and trials, and just trying new things. And everybody online wants to pretend that they have all the answers, that they're some genius, and they went to Harvard, so now they know just everything about everything. And that's why self-improvement, in my opinion, it's not always beneficial, depending on who you listen to. See, like, these specifically, let's talk about the fitness influencers first. Every time you see them, they always look insanely shredded, they have huge muscles, and they give you all this advice about what they do and like what you should do, and then you find out that they're enhanced, and they're using steroids. And it's just, when you hear stuff like that, now everything you heard is just fake, and you don't know what to believe. And when you hear the same thing about people who are giving like relationship advice online, all of a sudden every single one of them is some sort of relationship expert consultant. And come to find out, basically they cheated on their partner, or they're not even with anybody. And they never even like tried, so they don't even know what to do. Everybody thinks that they're an expert. And that's the problem is, nope, they never make any mistakes. They never say like what they did wrong. And if they do, it's very vague. They'll say stuff like, basically, oh, I came from the struggle. I'm struggling hard. I had to make it through. But they don't actually give you examples. And that's why every single video I make, I come on here and try to tell you that I'm not perfect. I'm very imperfect and very inconsistent. And you can tell just by the how often I post, which is not very often. The whole purpose of me starting this channel was to make videos for people who are average and people who don't have any sort of special advantage. And that's why I feel why my advice is at least, maybe not the best for certain people, but it's at least important in my opinion. And I'm not a person to brag, but I have made serious progress. And that's even with me being inconsistent. And I'm going to make a video soon about my fitness journey, what I used to look like. Just for reference, I'm 5'7", or 171 centimeters. And my weight, I don't know the kg, to be honest, I don't. But I'm 157 pounds, or 160 pounds now. But back then, for my height, I was over 200 pounds. And if you look at the BMI chart, that's the chart, the body mass index chart, where basically they line up your height to your weight to see if you're obese or not. I wasn't even on the chart. That's how overweight I was. I had no idea about diet. I didn't know anything about working out. And I was just extremely depressed and get bullied in school every single day. And once I finally lost weight and I started working out, all of a sudden people wanted to talk to me. And I knew they were fake friends. But at the same time, I didn't have any friends either, so I kind of just did what I had to do to keep them around. And because of that, I kind of felt like I was still alone at the end of the day, because I had to try to be like these people I don't even really connect with for real. But we all kind of go through like that phase of wanting people to be around us, and you kind of feel like you're alone, but you don't really like the feeling of it. But then when you find these people that are supposed to be your friends, they're not really like you at all. And when I realized they weren't like me is the moment when I started talking about my actual desire for growth and self-improvement. Because I was still working out during this time, which is around high school. However, my interests were whatever my friends' interests were. Because just stuff I really liked, I know they didn't really like it. Like, for example, they like sports, I don't care. But I had to pretend to care. And this isn't some sob story, because everybody everybody at some point in their life fakes it to kind of just make it in the moment. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, like I said, everybody says that they're an expert on knowing what to do. Everybody says that they never struggled, they did it all on their own, and nobody was around. What got me into self-improvement was a few reasons. Number one, the bullying, like I mentioned. Number two, it was the fact that I felt lonely, and I was basically just a loser, because I literally didn't do anything but just eat and play video games and like watch porn. Like, this is literally all I did. The stuff that average men do. And there's gonna be some guys on here saying, "Oh, I never watched porn a day in my life." Yes, you have. Stop lying. Every single guy, like nine out of 10 guys have watched it, and they're probably addicted to it. But I've made also a lot of progress in that regard too, and I'll also make videos on that. But for the purpose of this video, I just want to give a little bit of my backstory so you understand why I'm on this journey. So, like I said, the bullying, the loneliness factor, and just basically being a loser, and then the BMI chart is what really put it into play and made me start it. Knowing that I wasn't even on the chart for my, I guess you could say, a healthiness, just put everything into perspective, and that's when I really started going to the gym every single day. This was my the summer of my sophomore year in high school is when I started working out, and I'd go to the treadmill every single day for an hour. I would lift weights. I would try to better my diet, even though it wasn't the greatest. But what I did was I substituted things. So instead of eating candy, I'd eat like more fruits or just like more yogurt. But at the time, obviously, it's still sugar and you want to limit it. But I didn't know anything about it at all, because my family didn't know anything about it at all. So I had to I had to take things one step at a time by replacing things and finding alternatives. And now I'm at a place where I know exactly what to eat. I know everything about nutrition for the most part. Other than like scientific names, which I don't really care about. But as far as reading the nutrition label, I know all about that. And now I understand how bad food really is. And again, I want to make a video on that because that's something I really have a lot of knowledge on. But anyways, like I'm saying, I started putting in effort into my health and my fitness. And at the time, that was the only thing I worked on, was my fitness. I didn't work on my mentality. I didn't work on like my video game addiction, my porn addiction. I didn't work on anything else except my fitness, because at the time, that was the main thing that really affected me. Like, I never wanted to take a shirt off. I have maybe 2 photos of what I used to look like when I was fat, because I didn't want to take photos of myself. And once I find them, I'll put them in that video that I'm going to make about my fitness journey. But once I graduated high school, I started becoming more complacent. And a big reason was because I started working out for other people first and me second. And that was a mistake. Because now that I wasn't in high school anymore, for reference, I graduated during the pandemic, 2020. So I didn't have an actual graduation, which is fine. I wasn't going to go anyways. But the point is, I wasn't around people towards the end of my last year. And because I started doing things for other people first, when I was by myself, I didn't really want to do it anymore. And I started becoming complacent. I kind of, not really started eating bad again, but just overeating. I started working out less, and I noticed it. And that's when I realized, okay, I need to get back on my journey because I've been slacking way too long. So I got back into it, and that's why my physique, even though I've been working out for maybe close to 10 years, it hasn't been serious the whole time. It's been inconsistent, and that's why my results are inconsistent. But I'd say last year, or maybe probably 2 years ago, I started taking it really seriously. the only thing holding me back was my binge eating addiction, and that stems from childhood. And I think I mentioned that one time on my channel so far. But the binge eating, that came from my family not knowing anything about diet. So basically, I would just ask for food and they would just give it to me. Like, we would go to McDonald's, they would order me something, I would finish it, and then ask them for more. And then they would literally go up back to the counter and buy more food. And because they kind of just let me eat whatever I wanted, I just grew this addiction to eating for no reason. And even to this day, I struggle with it, even though I know it's bad. Now, I may not binge eat on terrible foods anymore. Like, I don't eat like ice cream and like chips really, but it's still not good. You still don't want to overeat. Doing over anything is bad, even if it's a good thing. And so like I said, I still have things that are holding me back. However, I've started a new routine, and like I always say, I'll make a video about that too. But inconsistency is the main point of why I feel you actually should listen to me. And I think my inconsistency is something that we can all relate to, because every single person that makes self-improvement talks about how they're so disciplined and so consistent. And come to find, like, one of the people I watched, I'm not going to name them, but maybe you'll figure it out. Basically, he makes all these videos about not using social media and going to work out every single day and eating clean. And then another video, basically, he was exposed for always scrolling through social media when he's bored, for basically working out, but then he was using steroids. And then, what was the other thing I said? I said working out. Oh yeah, eating healthy. And then basically he'd like just eat like pastries and croissants when he's just bored. So even though people look like they've made a lot of progress, that doesn't mean that what you see is what you get. And that's just all of social media. That's why nobody should believe anything they see on social media unless they're for certain that it's real. And that's why I feel like my advice is actually sometimes better than these other people that might have been doing it longer, and they might look better than me, but they have all these hidden things that they're hiding from you, because they have to create this perfect image online, because that's how they get you to buy their product. That's how they get you to subscribe. I've never once came on here and said I know everything, I'm never failing. Every single video, basically, I say I'm inconsistent, I failed. And we need to hear more of this. We need to normalize being aware of your problems, instead of trying to live in this fairy tale world where we're all just perfect, because we're not. But that's the whole point. The whole point is to go through the journey and learn to be better and learn what's holding us back. And anyways, that's the end of this video. I just wanted to come on here and talk about this, because if somebody stumbles on my channel, they might see that, oh, he's not as big as these fitness influencers, or he's not as I guess his advice doesn't sound like the most popular people that talk about the same thing. Yeah, the reason why is because I'm inconsistent, and I tell you about it. And I'm also teaching you ways that I get out of inconsistency. And if I slip back into it, then I'll try something new. And that's the point of this channel. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe. And just share it with anybody who you feel might need to hear this. Appreciate you guys watching and giving me a chance to speak my mind, for the people who do watch, at least. And anyways, watch out for the next video. Hope you guys have a good day.